Hey guys, hope you're having an incredible day. In today's video, we're actually going to be building out a custom app completely from scratch. So we're going to be doing it with someone who joined our community by the name of Rollo. So he actually built out this generate image with FAL AI. If you don't know what FAL AI is, it's a generative media platform for developers. It can generate images, and now recently you can take those images and turn them into videos. And normally, if you were to make a request, since they don't have an actual module, you would have to use an HTTP request like this right here, right? You see it's not really user friendly. You have to put in the endpoint, and this is the end request content with all the prompt and the different elements, versus if you do build your own custom apps, this is how nice it ends up coming, right? You put in your image prompt, you choose your model from a drop down list, you choose the image size, and everything else is pretty much set. And then once you're done, you hit OK, and that's all you have to do. So today, after watching this video, you'll know how to do it yourself. And there's also a really great documentation that you can read through. You can understand more in depth and follow along as you go for this. And so at the end of this video, I'll be showing you how you can get access to all of this for free. And so I hope you enjoy the video, you learn something along the way, and build out a custom app.
Good, man.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well too. Yeah. Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself, how you got started with no code and what you're currently using it for and all that?
I only started maybe 2 months ago. I've been building websites for like a couple of years now. I've been wasting so much time doing all of the manual things that could just be automated now. And so it kind of came down to the point of seeing everyone else do it and like, okay, it can't be that hard to build content generation systems. And so now I'm just trying to automate Pinterest and Facebook and Reddit and like everything, Medium.
So have you already set that up or you're in the process of doing that right now?
We got most things. Pinterest is completely automated. Facebook's completely automated. But everything still needs fine tuning. Still a lot of building that I need to do.
So what's kind of your plan? What's your vision here with no code?
I don't really know. I mean, like build out more systems, but I'd like to be doing it for people. But I mean, I'm only really doing everything internally. I don't really know where to get leads from. I haven't done much cold email and like outreach. I'm kind of just in this point of like, okay, building out cool things and trying to like scale content.
When I think about like where you're at right now, like I feel like a lot of people in the community, they struggle with one of three things, right? And it's either they don't have the skills, they have a ton of ideas, but they don't have the skills in Make or with no code to be able to do what they want. And then it comes down to like lead generation. So where are you going to source these leads? And then the third one is just having a solid offer. So I've probably been posting, I'd say like 7, 8 months now on YouTube. And background is I'm an engineer, and I just found no code. I became like pretty hooked on it. I was like, this is really awesome. I see the potential in doing this for other businesses, but for me right now, I'm just gonna focus on content creation, and I'm gonna post things that I'm passionate about and just share how I do that with the world, and whoever wants to opt in can opt in if they want. And so I've learned a lot along this journey, but I can tell you 100% that YouTube, if you generate leads, is a gold mine for that. Post one video, it's there forever. People will find maybe next year and still hit you up. Who knows where we're at in the cycle of no code automation adoption? We're probably still super early. So who's to say a year from now Make blows up way bigger than what it is right now, and then you have a ton of people on YouTube looking up Make tutorials, and if you're there occupying this digital real estate, like you're gonna get a lot of people. If you point them in the right direction of how to contact you, you're gonna get a lot of people who are looking for your services.
I don't feel that comfortable in video, to be honest. It's definitely a skill that you need to learn, right?
Yeah, I feel like I know it's uncomfortable, but once you start doing it, it's like lifting weights at the gym almost. Yeah, my setup is I use Loom to record all the videos. And then to edit them afterwards, I use a software called Gling, which it's an AI editing software, and you edit based on text, and it'll just remove all the blank spaces and all the pauses and the uhs and
Okay,
all
yeah.
those. So it makes it a lot faster to be able to edit videos. So I'm really excited, honestly, for you to show me a little bit on how you built this custom app. if someone is looking to hit you up and to work with you, how would they do that? Where could they find you?
Probably Instagram's best. Rollo.unden is my handle. Cool, okay. So to get to custom apps, you basically click the three dots and you go to custom apps. And I'll just clone the app, basically, because that'll probably be easier. This stuff isn't really important. It's more just like,
Yeah, it's just the name that you're giving it.
yeah, and colors. But the base, this is pretty simple, and you just ask Claude to set it up. Copy your existing base and feed in both make documentation for how to build apps, which is all here.
So where are you? So where are you right now? So within that first area.
So you've
right?
you've created the new app. I don't know if
Okay.
I can show you what that looks like. And base is the first thing that comes up.
So you created a new app and then you hopped into that app and that's what you see right now. But normally
Yeah,
this would all be blank, right? It's just because you cloned it that.
No, I haven't cloned it. This stuff comes up pre-filled,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
So it'll be pre-filled with example content, and you can feed the example content into Claude, and then it'll make you exactly what you need to do. Basically, it's got to follow JSON format, and if there's any errors in the content or the code, it comes up with a red line. So I'll give you an example. If I remove that, you got this red line here, and basically, if that comes up, just it won't let you save changes. Take it back to Claude and ask it to fix it. What this does is essentially it's like the entire structure of your app and error messages. But it's all like this is the most simple part of this. And then the next
Okay.
important thing is connections.
Before we move into connections on the base portion, how, if I wanted to make, like you did here, if I wanted to make a FAL AI image connection, how would I do that, right? Because I see you have your endpoints. Where did you get those endpoints from? Did you go into the FAL documentation to get those?
Yeah, I went into file documentation and I fed it this all the way down from app structure. Like all of this stuff is like how to read and feed basically everything down here all the way down to the bottom.
Okay.
You might have to do it over like several
Yeah, several prompts.
copies,
Yeah,
or just like copy the documentation several times. But basically, you want Claude to know how to build apps, and from there it gets pretty smart.
and then how did you know in FAL where to go to get that information?
I started on just the one I wanted to build first, which was Flux, and then it was pretty easy from then on. Like the only thing I ever really needed to change was inside modules. But if I show you the connections first, and then we go back to this. The connections are basically how you set up your API key. What the connection thing does is it sets up this, is create a connection. So I'll show you the code of that. And it's very short line of code. The parameters you don't really need to change. The only thing that you might change here is adding a help button on like where you get the API key from. Yeah, the code's very simple. I just asked Claude to set it up based on what the API essentially said. And this part I haven't really had problems with. When you've got this, you just need to go and create a module, any kind of module, and turn it on. And the second it's on, you can go to your scenarios and you can check to see if you can add a connection.
I know.
But essentially, I find it quite useful to understand what part does what. So the connections just set up this part. And if this doesn't work after you've gone and added a new module, you have to turn it on to be able to actually find the app. Basically, if this connection becomes okay, and then you get a connection up here, then this whole code is good enough and you can move on to the actual module.
At what point are you creating the module? After you've made your connection here?
After you've made the connection and set up the base, you'd go to Claude and you'd be like step by step, and you'd set up this. And then you could paste in all the existing code, this code. But you'll need to put in a label, and then you'll need to put in a type of connection. It's normally API key. And it'll come with some pre-filled code. and I would basically just do this and be like, what do I need to put here?
Yeah.
And then it would give me back some code that looks like this.
And
And
then in terms like when you have that conversation, right? It'll for sure say, well, what's your endpoint in FAL that you want to connect this to? Would it not?
Normally, what I would like to do before that, I would like to just build out a very simple HTTP module and just get it working with normal HTTP. And then when you can feed that all in, it'll make life a lot more simple in the fact that like you were like, okay, this is all my parameters I need to set up for my HTTP module. And so then you can just feed that in and basically it should help your understanding. But as soon as you've got something that allows you to connect, you're basically good enough on the connection side.
For your module, right? There you have generate image. Had you not set up the generate image module, would you have been able to still see it as a module within your make scenario right now?
No, you need to install a module, any module, and then you need to go and press turn it on to visible. So if I turn this off, it's now hidden, and basically nobody can find this.
And so if you hit create a new module, like that's essentially your HTTP request with all the different parameters of how you have things set up right now. So someone could put in, this is the model that I want to use for this. This is the size that I want to use.
And basically, I just had Recraft v3 first, and then I went back to Claude and was like, I want to add all these models. And then so I just added all these models, and now you have everything. Okay, so the mappable parameters are basically just all of this. What are your mappable parameters? Like below here. And so you should be able to just read this and see what the different things do.
So
like
Square, if you want Flux Pro v1.1 or the new one or Realism.
Well, right. Yeah, okay, so this model, this like section does this. So the image prompt, this like piece of code, this does this. This creates this little section here. And so below this you have width and height, which you should only select when you're using custom size. Here's sizing, for example. And this code sets, sizing. And basically this is all just from the input fields of Recraft or like FAL. It's all just this essentially. Yeah, this is like the normal basic things that you could add. I think if I changed the settings, I would, or added more settings, I'd have more options.
It also depends on the model that you're using.
But essentially, the mappable parameters are like this part. Essentially, the only thing else that you need to have a working module, apart from the communication, which you can just ask Claude to do, this is the important part of the module. And then the mappable parameters is the interface. And the interface is just the output, essentially. So when you click on this, it's these. This is the interface. And so you could really simplify this if you wanted to. Get rid of the request ID, get rid of everything apart from the image URL, because that's the only thing you need. But I don't really like to get rid of things, because what if somebody wants it as part of their flow? I mean, you could get more simple, but like there's no point in not having it. And this is just basically all of the different, outputs is the interface. And that's kind of all there is to the, make apps. It's like there's modules which are just the actual module, the inputs, the outputs, and the communication. And the rest is just like the normal API stuff, which is like the base, and then the connection, which just sets up the API. Everything else in here you don't really need. If you've already got a working HTTP module, it's a really easy setup from there. And so you just need to focus on this one, and this one.
And I really appreciate you putting this in the community too, so that I think everyone can benefit. Yeah, that's really awesome. And also taking the time to walk me through, but also everyone who's going to see this video and learn from this. Because I definitely learned a lot watching this. I haven't, like, I knew it was possible, but I've never really looked into how you can actually do this. So it's been really educational for me as well to learn how you can do this sort of thing.
I honestly find it so much easier than some of the workarounds people use instead of just building an app. I'm like, okay, now it takes me like 20 minutes to build one of these apps. I could do it for basically anyone. And like, if they've got simple, API documentation, then I could probably build an app for anything.
Right. So if anyone needs custom apps, you know who to hit up.
Uh,
Alright guys, so I hope you got massive value out of watching this video. All you have to do to get access to this documentation as well as the custom app is just click on the link in the bio down below. It's going to bring you to this site right here, and all you need to do is input your information, hit join now, and then you'll get a custom link sent directly to your email in order to join the community. This is the only way that I can set it up so that you get automatic access to the community. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.